Hey you guys, it's Josh Vision, and I'm here to bring to you another Viking discussion video. And the topic for this video is: was Ragnar a good father or a bad father? In my opinion, I think Ragnar was a good father. In my other video, when it came to was he a good husband or a bad husband, I sort of said that it's sort of like yin and yang. When he was with Lagtha, he was a good slash great husband. When he was with Aslog, it started off good, but the end result and the overall result was that he was a crappy father. Just like Aslog, in a sense, was a crappy wife. They were both crap to each other. Him and Lagtha was like perfect, damn near perfect. Besides that little tink in the road with the whole fertility, pregnancy, and all that. So, in regards to Ragnar being a good father or bad father, I think overall he's always been a great father. He's always been kind and generous to his children, playing with them. Remember, we have to remember that scene in which he was playing with his boys, Ube, Visick, and Sigurd in the beginning of season 3, episode 1. And, the lovable times he had with young Bjorn and his deceased daughter, Gita, R.I.P. And it's obvious that, throughout the show, he's shown his care, love, and adoration for his children. Those are the most important things to Ragnar, which has been established in the show over and over again. His children, I think the only negative thing you could say about Ragnar not being about Ragnar being a bad father would be the fact that he left for 8 to 10 years. And that's a good point. He left for 8 to 10 years. But I think we should differentiate him being a bad husband to him being a bad father, because there's lots of people, whether you see it on comments, on videos about Ragnar this and Ragnar didn't do this for his kids and all this stuff. Sometimes people confuse the two. It's separate. Ragnar to his children has always been great, except for that one blemish on the record. His marriages, especially with Aslog, sucked. Lagatha, although it was great towards the end, it ended on a horrible note. But his relationship with his children, awesome. And we have to also think about the fact that 8 to 10 years, what was going on through Ragnar's mind when he left for those 8 to 10 years? Athelstan's death has so greatly affected him because that was the only person whom he can feel he could totally trust and be open with. His other best friend, Floki, a person who he also trusts and at times used as a tool, to be honest, but he still cares a love for him, kills his best friend, Athelstan. And then we have to deal with the fact that he learned that the settlement, which he'd been trying to establish for so long, which he thought was all good, that he even fought along with his own army to help Queen Quinthrith and King Egbert people defeat, I believe, her uncle and her younger brother for Queen Kay to get back on the throne. So he did all that because the agreement that him and Egbert made with the settlement. And then to find out that when he leaves, the settlement's completely destroyed. His people, they're done, they're destroyed. And the fact that if word comes out about this, there's two things that could happen. One, Ragnar could get killed on the spot for even trusting the Christians. Two, Ragnar wants to gain even more fame by going to France, which Athelstan told him about. So that would derail his plans from getting even more and more fame, which is very important in that culture. So those are the two things that stand out that Ragnar was on Ragnar's mind once he found out about the settlement. And then after him faking his death, the injuries he suffered when he fell off, I believe, off the top of the wall, the Paris walls. And I believe it took there was like a time skip after the season 3 finale, like a 3-4 year time skip, and he was still messed up from those injuries. So the injuries, which were still on display in season 4, and that's why he literally got hooked on that drug stuff that Yidu gave him. Like that was his only way to function because of the dysfunction of his family life. The regret with Lagatha, the fact that him and Aslog's marriage was done, especially with Aslog almost when she was with Hobbit, which I explained in the other video, her children almost died due to them doing the do, and Siggy had to die in order for their children to be saved. And that ruined everything for their relationship. So Ragnar has no one. Like I mentioned before, he doesn't trust Floki because of the whole Allison death. And with him losing to Rollo, the brother who he always had been superior to, the brother who he spared his life on numerous occasions after betrayal, defeats him in battle. And the fact you got King Finehair, who's up and coming, who has made it clear he's ambitious, he wants to be the king of Norway. And with Ragnar losing that battle to Rollo and just the drug withdrawal and all this stuff, and also, by the way, killing Yidu, which is unnecessary, then he was definitely in need of like some time off. What Ragnar should have done, he should have told his family, you know what, I need some time to myself. Instead of just going off, telling nobody where he went, me gone for 10 years. I agree, that was messed up. But when I tend to judge something or judge an individual, I don't just go on one negative compared to a hell of a lot of positives. That was the one negative in terms of fatherhood that Ragnar screwed up on. Should it be taken lightly and thrown away? No. But it should be understood to a certain extent and eventually forgiven. And don't make it, and when I say this, this is the blemish, it's a very important blemish. And that's why I say Ragnar was a good father. If that 10-year time scale, which he just left, and he didn't tell me where he went, didn't happen, then I would say Ragnar is a great father. But because of that 10-year time scale and the fact that he wasn't there to tell the boys these lessons, to teach them like he did with Bjorn and Ivar towards the end of his life, then that just knocks him down a peg. But overall, I think Ragnar is and has always been a good father. But that's my thoughts on Ragnar. Thank you guys for watching my video. Rate the video if you can. Write some comments down below. We can talk about this further. And this is all I got to say. Adios. Have a good night.